98% originates from one statistic that only 2% of collegiate athletes go pro. Then it hit me. What happened to the other 98%? This platform will be sharing amazing stories from former collegiate and pro athletes who are navigating life after sports. We are here to celebrate their journey and share experiences to encourage and inspire. You never know who will hear your story. Welcome to 98%. Everyone, this is Daphne, founder and host of 98%. Today we have here Christine Williford.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming to share your story.
Of course.
So I'm gonna just intro you in. Christine is from Arizona. She went to Arizona State University. She ran track and field, the 400 and the 800. You majored in healthcare science, and you got your master's in
Education.
Yes. MED.
Yes, MED.
Okay, love it. Love it. So yeah, let's just dive right in.
Yeah.
How was your college experience?
That's a heavy question. You know, it's a loaded question. So for me, college wasn't like the best experience of my life. Like college was actually the worst years of my life. It was not a fun journey through mental health battles, my own family issues, and a lot of things I battled with just like on the track. It was very taxing. I'm very grateful for it at the end of the day, but it was a very heavy season of my life for sure. Yeah.
So when you ran track, how was your experience as an athlete at Arizona State? So I know you medically retired, so I'd love for you to tell the audience a bit about that.
Okay, so backtrack a little bit. So once I graduated, towards the end of my senior year, I committed to TCU. And then through that, I went for 6 months. A lot of things happened in my family. And thankfully, I did talk to ASU coach before I committed to TCU. And he told me, if you ever need a space here, like you have a spot here. And I was like, I remember at the time I was like, okay, but I'm going to TCU. I don't need, you know what I mean? And then I ended up right? But then I ended up calling him, and it just lined up. I ended up transferring to Arizona State in January of 2017. And so I was really excited because I was closer to home, and I thought like, okay, being closer to family, I'm back in my home state, I'm gonna feel more comfortable. But that wasn't the case. I loved my teammates at ASU. My coaches, I did have a few coaches, but the ones that I did have, I know they were like pouring into me. Yeah. But it was just still a rough season. Like moving back didn't make it better. I still, for me, struggled. I had a really bad eating disorder all throughout college. That led into depression and anxiety. And then through having an eating disorder and being a 4.8 runner, you know, that's such a heavy load of running. Yeah. And so not having the nutrition I need and then running, I got injured. And so then now I'm injured, and then on top of that, you have an eating disorder. So you're obsessed with your body. So now I can't work out and like have my body as fit as possible. So now I have another load of stress on me. And so then, you know, this is a horrible cycle I'm going through until my junior year. I had to get 2 knee surgeries, one in January and then one in December of the same year for my meniscus. Yeah, what? Right? One in January, and then I was back in December on the same knee too. And so,
what were you doing?
You were jumping hurdles. No, that's why I tore my meniscus. I have no idea. Like that's like a twist injury. I don't know. But so then it takes me to have the surgery, and then that next season I'm just trying to jump back. My one athletic trainer who I love to death, he could tell there was something going on with me outside of just my injury. And one day he's like, Christine, like you're always a light in here, and people love having you around, but like he pretty much told me I could see right through you. Like, what's up? And I just break down. Like this injury is really taxing. I am literally like, and I tell him like, because I had bulimia. So I'm like, I throw up my food every day. I go home and I just like cry my eyes out, and I don't know what's wrong with me. I have anxiety over my classes and over like my family situation at the time. My brother, he was a former heroin addict, was gone to prison. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. My parents separated. That is not a bad thing, but they separated. And so my mom's going through that and her sickness. So it was just so much going on. And so he was like, hey, through honestly with your meniscus and how your recovery is looking like, honestly, you medically retiring might be the best thing. And at first I was nervous because I was on a full ride. So I thought like, well, what's going to happen? Because I don't know anything about you know, medical retirement. You could do
that?
that? Yeah. And so thankfully I still got my school covered, and I was able to medically retire. And through that, I was put through rehab for my eating disorder. I still came in and got rehabilitation for my knee. And yeah, that's a very long story stuffed into,
but no, it's a blessing. And there's very few people that you'll run into that actually got to keep their full scholarship through their entire 4 years. And I have a similar story as well. I ended up medically retiring over, to put it simply, shin splints. So I had a stress reaction in both of my shins. And so I had a coach, the coach that recruited me ended up leaving. She went to another school, took like 3 other coaches with her. And so we had to bring in a whole new coaching staff, but the track director stayed. Yeah. And it was in that 3rd year, he called me into his office at 8 a.m. And mind you, I was in a lot of trouble for a lot of other things just because I couldn't keep my grades up, whatever. So I was like, dang, what kind of conversation is this gonna be? And he had talked about medical retirement, and you know, that was an option I had. And I was like, that's real? Like, we could do that? And so once he explained it to me, I was like, nah, I don't want it. And then I came back a week later and I was like, okay, I'll give in and do the medical retirement. And I think that, honestly, we just got to give it up to God for that, because many people don't see even a half scholarship all the way through to 4 years. So, I mean, that's awesome. And I'm so glad that you had the support of your coaches and your trainer throughout your journey, because most athletes don't have that. I for sure didn't have that. And that's, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that you were able to have that and be able to continue treatment and honestly, it's just, wow, a blessing.
No, it was. And even they referred me to like the clinic I went to for my eating disorder. Like, they referred me to that place. I spoke to, I think our school psychologist first, and then she I was really supported at the time. And so that was really nice. And
that's beautiful.
And especially it was so like abrupt. Like, it was just like, Christine, the positive person that does all these things. And then it's just like, oh my gosh, she has a mental health issue and her injury. So just so abruptly still taking everything that they had and pouring it into me.
Did your teammates know?
Nope. My mom didn't even know how to eat disorder. And me and my mom are so close. And for me, because, you know, track girls, we're super cut. We're super lean. The leaner you are, the better you perform, the better you look. And so if anything, people are like, oh, Christine's just in killer shape. But I was really like dying to have that body.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, let's actually talk about body image. So how did you kind of overcome your eating disorder, and how do you translate that now and being healthy and feeling like yourself?
So it was so the thing with eating disorders that a lot of people don't know, it's definitely body image is a huge part of it. But for me, it started with like control. My eating disorder started my sophomore year of high school. And I didn't even know that, it was more of a control issue, because that was when my brother first started to, you know, deal with his issues, and mom was getting back into getting sick because she was sick as a kid, and it came back again. And so through therapy, I've learned this. I didn't come up with this myself, but my therapist and me talked through this. We love therapy. And she was like, Christine, this isn't like it's a body thing, it's a control thing. And so that part, but then also there is a whole, like, you look in the mirror and you don't like you can see, like, I was at the time, like right now I'm 175. At the time I was like 140. And I looked in the mirror and I saw just nothing worth. It was just unworthiness. To a point where I would cover my mirrors with construction paper. Like, my mom came to my house one day and she was like, my apartment, and she was like, what's going on? Because it was, and that's kind of how she started to know. But how I overcame it was through therapy. First, talking about it. Like, I had an eating disorder for my sophomore year. I didn't go and tell my mom until my junior year, right? And so telling my coaches, then going to therapy. If therapy is an option, that's the best thing I have ever done. And I still go to therapy for this day. Like, and it has, honestly, I'm so confident with my body and who God has created me to be. I'm so confident in that now. But I still do it just because we always are growing and evolving. But it was through constant, like, affirmations. Like, I'd have reminders on my phone every day for like 5 times a day telling me things that I didn't believe about myself. Like, you are worthy, you are loved by God, you are beautiful, you are confident in your body. Things that I wanted to believe, I would just repeat that over. And no matter where I was, I'd like look in the mirror, pull up the camera on my phone say it to myself, right? Building healthy relationships around food, not identifying them as good and bad, just about, like I say, 80-20, so foods that like are nourishing, that my body needs, and then I call it soul food, like foods for my soul. I love burgers, I love fries, I'm gonna eat it. That's my soul food, right? And so just practicing that, and then practicing that consistently. Like that is something that I had to do for years. Like this wasn't like, a few months, a year, like this was like a 4 or 5 year
lifestyle.
Yes, since I was diagnosed. So I was diagnosed, and then I still had 4 or 5 years to still, and through that was still ended up in the hospital twice, right? Still was throwing up my food and going sometimes not realizing I was doing crash diets or super intense workouts to try to compensate. So it was just a balance that I had to find over time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So you were going to school, or you had graduated right around COVID.
Yeah. For my
How was that, and how did COVID impact you?
So COVID for me was, I say this, I'm sorry, I don't want to be insensitive because it was very traumatic for people, but it was the best thing that has ever happened to me. Like, yes, I didn't walk, which for me, I'm actually not a big person like to walk. It's not a big deal to me. But that was my senior year. So I already medically retired like the end of my junior year. So I already knew this senior year wasn't going to be track. But just I moved back home, and then all my classes were online. And then it just was a time and a season to where I really just had to like sit with myself. Because we were COVID, we were locked in. I had to lock in with myself. And so I did. So literally my day was, I built a gym. My grandpa's like a really great track coach back home. And he didn't use his gym equipment back home. So I took all his gym equipment, moved it into my mom's gym or into her garage, created a gym, and started practicing like healthy ways to train myself, because I think physical health is super important too. And then I would go to therapy, go to class, and then my brother got out of prison, and so he's back home. And so then we're able to like work out together and grow and heal together. So it was actually such a beautiful time for my life. It was very hard. I still was going through stuff, but I was able to like really sit with me for a long time.
That's beautiful. So how did you find your purpose? I know COVID was a time where you got to, learn about yourself and heal and get closer with your family. So what happened next?
So from there, I was like, I've always wanted to be, because I'm a holistic health coach now. So I'm personal trained, nutrition, mental health, like do all of those counseling things. And at the time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I loved fitness and things like that, but I didn't love fitness. I loved evolving. That's what I loved, the process of evolving. And I was like, literally just got on my knees, like, God, what do I do? Because again, during the season, I was really diving into my relationship with God too. And it was the first time I actually felt myself truly surrender. Like, have you ever been like, God, help me, but you're holding on to something a little bit? I actually felt myself like surrender. I was like, God, if you like show me a way, and if not, I'm gonna sell everything and move to like Thailand and like live off the land. Like that's something I'm weird. I've always said, I know.
Why does everybody move to Thailand and they get their yoga license?
Yeah, just be one of those people. And I heard him tell me, I want you to teach, and I want you to coach, and I want you to continue like educating yourself. And I was like, I'm the first person in my family to go to college. And I was like, I barely was planning on going to college. What do you mean? And I was on full ride. I was like, I'm not paying for, then I start arguing with God, right?
Yeah.
But then I end up getting an email talking about, hey, it's TFA, Teach for America. We want you to come in for an interview. We've heard things that you do, yada, yada, yada. Come in. And it's literally, they're like, yeah, so what we do is we take you, and I wanted to move out of the state too. I really wanted to get out of my environment. And so it's like, yeah, we place you at a school, and it's based off of the top 3 states you pick. And through that, you teach. And then through teaching, like, we love that you do tracks. We'd want you to coach as well. And then we pay for your master's degree. I literally, like, they probably thought I was crazy, because I was like, like,
God said
you have
for
no
you,
idea
it's
how
for
God,
you.
crazy. And so go through that interview process, got in, moved back to Dallas, which is crazy because I was in Dallas years ago, but then I ended up coming, and I felt so, when I committed to TCU, because when I was in Dallas, I felt like I'm supposed to be here. but I really think that was my spirit moving faster than like my physical self.
Yeah.
Because then end up coming back to Dallas, and now I'm getting my master's degree, and then I was coaching 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade track, cross country, and basketball. And so that was also another season of just pouring into other people, especially like my eating disorder didn't start until sophomore year, but behaviors of that or body image or comparing myself, thinking I'm less worthy started in 8th grade if I really think about it.
Yeah.
And so that was just such a season of being able to show kids like, hey, like you can create a life for yourself that's beautiful, but it starts with you. And so just helping, I can't save anybody, but just helping them navigate, and then just helping me grow in how I talk, how I coach up people, educate people, and now that's literally what I do. So it was just came around full circle.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. And now you have started a business, Aspire to Be.
Yeah, Aspire Fitness, Aspire to Be.
Aspire to Be, Aspire Fitness. Talk about that.
Okay, so that's a blessing because I started my business 9 months ago.
Yeah.
It hasn't even been a year. I remember my teaching contract came back to renew, and I just got out of my TFA program, graduated, and I was like, God, what do you want me to do next? Because I've learned I don't want to do stuff out of God's calling for me because I mess up. And so I felt that he told me to start your business. So I walk away from a paycheck. Again, no one in my family has done this either. So my family's like, you have a whole master's degree. You can go get a job at like a few university lineup jobs, but I felt called to do this. And so now I coach and train women to become everything they aspire to be. Like we work on 80, right? Everything you aspire to be. There is no limit to who you are, to who God created you to be. And so through, of course, working out, we have goals because of course you can, have the body and have, feel strong and confident in your body. So working towards our goals while loving ourselves through the journey, right? Having healthy relationships with food, and then just creating an environment to where we're uplifting each other and loving each other. So then when they go out and that energy that we create in the gym, it's like, I was able to lift this weight and do X, Y, and Z. Now when I go into the real world, I can conquer these things too. So I have girls that, top of killing it in the gym and hitting their goals, they're like, I actually have a friend that started a podcast. I don't even call my clients friends. They're like my friends. They're my family, my girls.
I love that.
But like starting podcasts, starting business. One got like a huge business, like won an award for her business that she applied for that she was scared to apply to. You know what I mean? So it's like we are becoming everything we aspire to be just through the lens of a gym and through just a lens of continuously practicing what we want to be. Yeah.
I'm so amazed by you and everything that you've conquered and overcome, and now you get to channel that into helping others. And I love the name Aspire to Be. Yeah. Aspire Fitness. I think it's an embodiment of who you are and the purpose God really had for you at times. And I think it's really interesting too, like how you went to TCU and then it just came back full circle.
Yeah, and I remember I used to think like, I hate Texas. Like after that season, I was like, I hate, because I was in such a bad, you ever been in a bad space?
Oh yeah.
And you blame it on the place, but it's really you. And so it was me. And so now I come back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it here. Like there's so many people that I connect with that are here. And it's just crazy what God will do with your pain. Even Aspire Fitness, that name wasn't birthed out of like God telling me you're gonna be great. I was actually in the hospital after my mom submitted me because I was already on Percocets about to kill myself. And I called my mom and we were in the hospital and she's like, baby girl, you're gonna become anything you aspire to be. Wow. You just gotta put in the work, you gotta trust God. And that just stuck with me. And so through that, that's where my name was birthed from. It wasn't from a happy, fluffy, it was from a deep place. Yeah.
Wow. And what the enemy meant for evil, God turns it to good. Like, there's just no doubt. Like, there's just no doubt that God has truly seen you through in every step. And when you moved to Dallas, how was it easy for you to build community here? How was that?
So thankfully, because I moved out with my program, it wasn't too bad because I did move during COVID still because I moved out here then in 2021. So I was still like, you were still locked down. But I think they were opening up.
Texas was still open.
Yeah, but Texas was open because I met people through, because I was in my program. So like I connected to some of the girls. One of my really good friends to this day was at the same school as me that was in the program, and we worked across the hall from each other. And so she was more, I'm very social, but like, I'm social, I'm like, hey, 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 but then I like go back into my own space. So she, through her, like met a whole bunch of other people. I actually went to this gym called Journey Fit and met now my girls that are like my warrior friends that I've prayed for, met them there. And so, and then they've just, you know, some of them are from here, and that just kind of trickled. So I didn't look for a community. I just kind of went, and it just kind of found yeah,
you.
Thankfully, yeah.
I love that. So before we end, I'd love you to look into this camera. This one right here.
Okay.
And I want you to just answer this question. What advice do you have for women who are struggling, finding themselves and dealing with some kind of pain and hurt?
Okay. That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
So if anything, you can't do it alone. I don't care where you're from, how strong you are, I believe you're strong. Get community, get help. And on top of that, let go of everything you think you are. Whatever label you think you've ever been, let go of that, so then God can reveal to you who you truly are through the lens that God created you to be, which is limitless. And through that, and through daily practice that comes with a lot of hurdles, you will just continuously grow into a woman that you never thought was even imaginable. So,
thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on 98% and sharing your story. I know that this story will inspire many people, and especially women who are dealing with pain and hurt. And I hope they are able to like find you and just be able to talk to you, because you have so much just light about you. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I love it. Thank you for sharing your space. I appreciate it.